tell this jury about Maggie and your relationship with her?
She was just as beautiful inside as she was outside. I mean, she threw herself into her boy's life. I mean, you know, she never took not working for granted. I mean, she might not have worked, but I promise you, she worked. And she worked to make sure me and Paul and Buster had everything.
Alec Murdaugh talking about Maggie, the woman he murdered, the woman who gave birth to his 2 children, the woman who, I believe, owned the Moselle property. How about that? But when she died, everything's transferred, I guess, to Alec, and now the whole Moselle property being sold for millions of dollars. So where's all this money now going? Who's getting the money? Let's take a look. It's fascinating to watch because this is a big part of this story, because you look back at Alec Murdaugh and it seems like everything he did was motivated by money, 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 but now it looks like the money's going the other way. Finally, right? $6,511.52 to Laura Jones, a creditor, has a claim against the estate. $530,000 to Buster, who is the surviving son. $290,000 will be used by John Marvin to pay the estate's outstanding legal fees. $100,000 goes to attorney Joseph McCulloch, who represents boat crash victim Connor Cook. $25,000 to Palmetto State Bank, which has a claim against the estate. And the remaining funds going to Mark Tinsley, the attorney, obviously, on behalf of the 3 other parties from the boat wreck: Morgan Doherty, Miley Altman, and the estate, of course, of Mallory Beach, who lost her life in that boat wreck. So there's the breakdown. Let's bring in some guests, get some clarity on all these financial issues, which have really kind of been lingering and very mysterious, like who owned and who's buying and who sold the Moselle property. Joining me tonight in Columbia, South Carolina, attorney, host of the Cup of Justice podcast, Eric Bland, is back with us. And criminal defense attorney Joe McCulloch, who also represented Connor Cook, as you heard, in that civil case. Joe, let me start with you. I'm looking at all of this. First, did we get it right? Number one. Number two, how complicated is the financial world of Alec Murdaugh and the estate of Maggie Murdaugh in trying to figure out where the money is, how much there is, and where it's all going?
Well, it's impossibly complicated. And based on the graphic you just put up, we, on behalf of Connor Cook, agreed to the resolution of the sale of the Moselle property, and my client will receive some of those funds. That required the agreement of a number of parties, creditors, and lawsuits. But, you know, the big question is where all the money went. It didn't go to opioids, and we may never know. We may ultimately find out, but it's one hell of a convoluted mess. And the estate and the lawyers handling the estate for Maggie certainly have their work cut out for them.
So just so we understand, like, this was from the estate of Maggie Murdaugh because she was the one that actually owned the Moselle property. Eric Bland, looking at the complicated, convoluted world of Alec Murdaugh, do you think there's hidden money somewhere? Yeah, I don't know if it's buried in the ground or if it's in some offshore account or somebody else is holding it. Do you think there's money somewhere else, or is it just the sale of Moselle for $3.7 million and you know, some cars and I don't know what else he has?
No, I do think there is money somewhere. Obviously, there was over $8 million stolen from clients, plus he had legitimate income of deep 7 figures for many years. The claim against Maggie was for negligent entrustment and negligent supervision. Excuse me. And so Mark Tinsley made a decision that he wanted to resolve that claim so that when he goes forward in his trial in August, the people who are sitting at the defense table are Alex Murdaugh, if he's going to show up. If not, he's in absentia, and the Parker convenience store. As a judgment creditor, my clients had to give their consent for this settlement to go through because we hold a $4.3 million judgment, the Satterfields do. So it's our anticipation that we're going to get some money. There's going to be a pool of money that the receiver is going to set aside for victims, and then victims are going to petition for their pro rata share. Now, some victims have gotten paid more money. Obviously, the Satterfields have recovered in excess of $7.5 million, so I'm going to have to make a showing that they're entitled to more. There's other victims that may have not gotten dollar for dollar. So it hasn't ended yet. Obviously, Alex still has a lot of money. Don't forget, he was a trust fund baby after his father died. His father left a substantial trust for 4 children, and that money under South Carolina law is untouchable. So we're not going to wait for Alex.
Murderer? Even for a murderer?
Yeah, he can't profit. He can't profit. So if he wants to sell movie rights or books or whatever, there's a number of us that'll be standing in line saying, thanks a lot, appreciate you doing that. Now hand over the money. I suspect that Harpootlian and Griffin are going to do something that will get around that. But there's a lot of things that are going to come down the pike.
All right. Joe McCulloch, we have like 15 seconds. Anything you want to add? Because we're a little short on time tonight.
No, it's just going to be interesting from here on out. This story will never end.
No, it's not. It's not. There's so many. What a tangled web we weave. Indeed.
Vinnie, I want to let you know I am going to be assisting Sandy Smith in the exhumation of that, getting a court order.
Fantastic. We're going to talk to you Monday. Sandy's going to be on Monday. We'll get you back on Monday if you're available, and I hope your knee's feeling good.
Thanks.
All right.
Appreciate it. Bye,
Eric
guys.
Bland, Joe McCulloch. Have a great weekend, guys. Appreciate it.